its trajectory.
I think one of the added reasons why I think it's a decent price at 5 to 2 is that of all the sires running today, Baltic King has probably his progeny have got the most marked preference to soft ground.
Okay.
So it's gone 11 to 4 now, and I think I'm surprised it's drifted actually because it's under that on the exchanges. So if you fancy it, 11 to 4 might not last. But yeah, coming back to the Baltic King point. This race is absolutely bizarre. I've never looked at a race before outside a maiden company where none of the horses in the field are actually proven on the ground. They've never, actually none of this sort have ever raced on soft ground before, which really kind of like muddies the waters. But I think Gracious John is well handicapped. The form's been franked last time. We know the step down in trip has suited this one, and we know the sire tends to get more than its fair share of soft ground performance. So I think Gracious John has got a lot going for that, and that 11 to 4 won't last if you do fancy that.
Let's move on to Point of Wood, shall we? He's also making his handicap debut for a mark of 82, which I thought was okay. He'd been improving in maidens, culminating in winning at Thirsk, prior to the last run at York, where he was disappointing. He needs to bounce back from that. Yeah,
well, obviously it's stepping into a handicap company here. I think this is probably one of the best handicapped horses in. She's one of the best. One of the best handicapped horses in the race, Point of Woods. So yeah, I can see that on its first win and Doncaster second. So I would agree that the market is pretty much in the right order.
And then there's Sunnyside Bob, who's having his 5th start. So he's shown a similar level of form, I felt, the last 3 times. It showed that he should be thereabouts without looking as though he's been given a really handy handicap mark to start his nursery days in.
Like I said, I wouldn't argue with the way the market shaped up at all. I mean, it sandwiched 2 progressive horses last time, and I think a raise of £4 is very fair for that one. Celebration has gone up £15 for those 2 wins, but you know it's in decent form. It didn't run badly last time. There was a bit of money around for Millennium Falcon this morning. I think it might have been put up by a tipping line actually, so that was momentarily cut. I mean, whenever these horses suddenly cut 2 or 3 points when you're looking at the markets, it's normally invariably a tipping line or things like that. So it's always something to factor in. But this horse has obviously it was slashed into single figures this morning, but it's back out to 11 to 1 now. And it's even bigger on the exchanges. But yeah, you can see that's in decent form. So
it's the £3 out of the handicap thing that I'm not keen on. And she's wearing cheek pieces for the first time. And the Celebration, when he went at Sandown, he was helped by that rail in the draw, wasn't he? And went up £9 for that. I wondered whether that was just maybe a step too far, albeit that he does handle cut to the ground.
Well, the jockey got off and said, ears were pricked, was dossing out in front. There's more to come from this one, but. Yeah, I'm not so sure. Gracious John now has been backed into 9 to 4. I think it's by far the most likeliest winner looking at this, but you can't be too kind of like bullish, and you can't be too kind of like you can't be too confident about horses that have never run on this ground before. So it's pretty much all a guessing game.
I want to mention Storm Melody, whose best performance came when 3rd at Sandown, and that was on his penultimate run. He was quite well drawn the time that he ran well at Sandown, so I take that point. And he wasn't well drawn there last time, but I felt that he did show that he had some kind of ability. But again, I suppose it's a royal applause. So
yeah, I mean, if you like I said, this horse is nearly double the price on the exchange as it is on the show Storm Melody, but. I take your point there. I mean, from a pure handicapping point of view, that 3rd at Sandown makes him a pretty well handicapped horse here. I mean, there is not much between these on the ratings here, but yeah, I think Gracious John. I keep on coming back to Gracious John. Like I said, I think he's got a lot going for it, and in all the guessing game about will they go on the ground, I think his sire gives you the most confidence that it will suit, but. Like I said, Point of Woods is, that's quite strong against it, and you can see why.
A bit of cut in the ground, I think, in 5 furlongs is a good thing for Point of Woods. That combination, I think, is...
It all depends on, we're not dealing with a bit of cut in the ground here. I think we've pretty much established it is pretty testing there. And like I said, none of these... I've never looked at a race before where none of the horses have even raced on the ground, let alone proven on the ground. I started off saying, I'm proven on ground, and looked at your notes afterwards, and
Then you had to start again.
bingo all 9. That's that angle out of the way. Then you go to the sires and the handicapping point of view. But yeah, Gracious John is a very worthy favourite, and I wouldn't argue against any of the prices here. Even the outsiders like Al Shalal and Daban, you know, if they came back to the pick of their form, they would have a chance of these marks. It's just a matter of with Gracious John, who got a horse going forward, and I think a mark the form's been frank last time. I think a mark of 88 is pretty fair.
Okay, well, just having to persuade Storm Melody to get in the stalls, but they have successfully done that. The stalls handlers, well done to them. So just a few more 2 years to bring forward for this 5 furlong nursery.
We haven't mentioned New Roadside. I think that's up against it. I'm surprised it's not a little bit bigger actually, but that's £7 higher than when second at first in July. But that, you know, that's obviously, she's obviously been, you know, pretty well regarded to have a run in the Queen Mary, and
then back in listed company the last twice, albeit that she unseated her rider after making an awkward start at Ayr last time.
You can make as with all nurseries, you know, you got largely unexposed horses on ground they've never raced on before. No result will come as a big surprise, but I think the market's pretty much got this in the right order. Okay,
well, we shall shortly find out, as the last one is to... Oh no, the last 2 are to go forward. Millennium Falcon in those first-time cheek pieces, and New Roadside, the other filly in the race, are going forward. Let's join Mike.
Yeah, thanks, Lydia. Millennium Falcon is in. New Roadside, who got unseated its rider in the stalls last time. Keep an eye on that one. New Roadside is in. They're all set to go here, and they're off and racing. Storm Melody a little bit slow to stride here. Point of Wood's not the best away either for the Brown Shipley Nursery handicap over the straight 5 furlong. Celebration away to a good start. Gracious John though heading him on the near side with Point of Wood's Al Shalal and Storm Melody down the centre. Millennium Falcon racing together with Sunnyside Bob, the green jacket of New Roadside. Pace though with Gracious John, just outpaces Deban at this stage. He's got to pass all his rivals to win as they race on towards the halfway point spread right across the track. On the near side, Point of Woods with Gracious John. Over on the far side, green jacket, New Roadside. Deban starts to pick up as well. Sunnyside Bob is busy away as they race on now inside the final furlong and a half. Seems to be on the near side where the action is. Gracious John is in front, approaching the final furlong. Leads by about a length or so from Point of Woods, who's running around a bit. Celebration trying to get a run up the inside rail. Half a furlong left to go. Storm Melody is also running on with Deban behind them. But Gracious John, the top weight, showing a touch of class here and goes on to win well. Tight for second, very tight with Point of Woods and Storm Melody. Fourth was Celebration, and Deban got going late. He took 5th.
Gracious John has followed up his very impressive win at York last time with another impressive win on his nursery debut. John Egan riding for David Evans. He's handled this very different ground and he comes home quite a ready winner. I would suspect that there's been a photo called between Storm Melody, who might just be second, but we'll wait for the judge for that. That's number 8, and Point of Woods number 3. Celebration is also close up. Here are the closing stages, and you can see that John Egan just pushing along on Gracious John, but he responds readily to that urging, and he leaves behind first Point of Woods, who flounders quite a bit initially and sort of wanders left and right, and then does rally and knuckle down. And Storm Melody has kept on well towards the centre, and against the near side rail, that Celebration keeping up to his task as well.
Yeah, I thought it momentarily looked in trouble, Gracious John, about 2 out. I think it drifted to about 10 to 1 in running as well, which probably backed that one up. But once it was asked, once John Egan asked it really picked up really well, and the ground wasn't a problem as we suspected it. It might not have been given the side Baltic Kings progeny liking for a bit of cut, but the market got this one right, and it's won very nicely there. Like I said, a mark of 88 was arguably pretty lenient given what the runner-up has done subsequently, and just the combination of the step down trip, lenient mark, and ground that clearly wasn't a hindrance, saw Gracious John win this emphatically.
Yes, he has in the end. Wandering over towards the right there is Deban, who